So I don't know where to begin talking about this arc or just talking about the series in general, but I finally went and started Berserk, or in that sense, I started finally binging it properly. And I finally finished a Golden Age arc, and goddamn, I've almost finished a Conviction arc. I believe that's what it's called at the time we're recording this. And I just want to give my thoughts on it so far, because I was going to make a video when I finished caught up on it, because I saw, quote, the final chapter dropped. So it's got me more intrigued to binge it a little bit more, because at the moment, sadly, from Miura's passing, we don't know if that was the last chapter. I don't know what's in it, but I'm hearing if it is, it's a decent place to end, is what I'm hearing. But your boy's finally getting into it, finally starting a binge Berserk, and your boy's loving it so far. I guess I'm going to talk about the Golden Age within this video, and I had a whole script ready, like a fucking 3,000 page script, 3,000 word script, but it's more of me wanting to go through my thoughts with it right now, and I guess I'll refer to the script bit by bit, but it's just more of my thoughts on it and like a raw reaction of that, because I guess that was just the best way to do it. I guess to start with, whenever I started this arc, like the Golden Age, I'm not going to talk about Black Swordsman. I might talk about that towards the end once I start to get towards other stuff. It's just so many emotions your boy has on this series so far, and it's honestly phenomenal. I guess that's the only thing here. So when I first started Berserk, I streamed it, and I've done 2 streams. The first stream's still up, and I really enjoyed that. It was like a 4-hour stream almost. Second stream was around an hour and a half. But the thing is with this, I had fun in the first stream, first time react to it, first time reading it, everything like that. My second stream wasn't really feeling it. The part I was on, I was towards the bit where Griffith is being saved after Guts comes back from his journey, and the band of Hawk is sort of trying to survive with Griffith in prison being tortured. So I was reading around that little bit there, but I wasn't feeling it. I don't know why. I guess the first time was more of like, oh my god, I'm reading Berserk. God damn, I'm reading this to everyone for the first time. It's pretty hype. And that was my first impressions of it. Like, I love that stream. The second one, I wasn't feeling it. So I'm like, okay, I know what to do. I'm gonna start reading it myself, take it at my own pace, and just present it like this in a video, what I'm doing right now. So that's why I'm doing this type of video. So sorry if someone wanted to see certain reactions to other type of stuff within the series. So when I first started Golden Age, it's a bit weird because this arc already had a nice tone and setting to it, and like it was, oh my god, okay, I'm liking the art here, I'm liking everything. I felt similar to your boy's favorite manga at the moment, what is Kingdom. I've read Kingdom ages ago. I love Kingdom, and I got vibes of Vinland Saga. So I feel like those 2 authors might have taken inspiration off Miura and sort of applied it to that. And that's actually pretty cool there. I'm not going to try and recap as much, because I can really go through bit by bit how the Golden Age plays out. But I've spoken to someone, and it's such a long arc, and there's so much within this arc, that it's going to be so hard to recap every little thing. So with Guts as a child, he was still in the army, and it was pretty cool to see him, like, born from his mother, like, just hanging from a tree pretty much. And Gambino went and picked this boy up, just a kid named Guts. And this bit really reminds me, like, of Gambino and Guts' relationship. It's more of an Ocelot and Thorfinn type of thing, if you get my vibe after that. Let's say you've read or watched Vinland Saga. I guess when you come into this, you're going to get that type of vibe, even though Berserk was made before Vinland Saga, I do believe it was. I really like seeing that dynamic over there, and it really brought some familiarity. What I had the fun in watching Vinland Saga, or if you read Vinland Saga, it feels familiar, and I feel comfortable with it. So that's really cool. The one thing with Guts is child backstory. So, like, it's really cool to see him sort of rise up through the ranks and see how he is as a child, to keep getting stronger and progressing with that relationship with Gambino. But goddamn, Gambino really sold my boy out to Donovan. And I have that on stream, actually, so if you want to go check that out, like, goddamn, yikes. That was a really yikes moment. I see this everywhere, and I finally got context towards it, and that's Jesus. Gambino sold the boy out for a few, like, 2 gold coins, I believe it was, like, for barely anything. Jesus, it's just a really fucked up scene, and it sort of brings in the dark tone what Berserk can really have, and it's sort of like, wakes up people that, it's not just like a little war manga, it's gonna get fucked up a little bit. And I guess this is a little bit how this might be a little bit of an introduction into, hey, yo, this is just a start. Some fucked up shit is happening. And I think it hits even more harder when you sort of consider how Guts sees Gambino as a father figure, and he just does that to him for money, just a little bit of money. This leaves me shocked that I just feel bad for Guts. Around this time, it was also when Gambino loses his leg, and, he can't really fight, be the leader he once was in this little army. So his hate for Guts just keeps getting worse and worse. I feel like the way I perceive it might be because he's just seeing Guts grow and grow, while Gambino sort of blames Guts for it for whatever reason. It's a bit disappointing how that sort of ended up. And the one thing I could say here, when the chapters at the beginning of Berserk, I don't know if I notice it too much now, but usually when a new volume starts, and this was in the Golden Age mainly, like when Guts killed Gambino, it was really cool because we had this really nice type of shading in the first few pages, what just looks so much more different to what you would get in a normal page. So I actually love seeing that. It really adds to the scene and shows the different type of emotions Miura can present with his art. And the main part I wanted to get to within this video, first of all, was the relationship between Guts and Griffith, and more importantly between the first fight between Guts and Griffith. I feel like that holds so much more importance to the series and just how the relationship is presented between these two, how Griffith sees Guts and how Guts sees Griffith being so powerful. It's not really like anyone was on Griffith's level at the time. So with Guts being able to come out of nowhere, just a random kid, and standing toe to toe with him, it really shined a light on his character, like in Griffith's eyes especially, being able to see someone who belongs to him and see someone on his level who's able to stand next to him on that level. It's just important, and a really important introduction when you think of it in the grand scheme of things, of how Griffith really thinks of Guts. In that sense, like his whole life, he's been the king pretty much. You know, my boy's the prince. No one's been able to stand on his level. Now this random kid comes out of nowhere and does really good against him. And he's just like, goddamn, this is the one. He belongs to me now. I'm gonna make him stand next to me while I rise to power. Like, he's almost Guts' second man. Like, there you go. They're on the same level like that, I would say. In the whole of Berserk, like, I feel like the relationship between Guts and Griffith is the most important in the series. Like, generally, I can't really think of any other relationship within the series. I'll come to Casca a little bit later and how I feel about that. Can't really say anything else really holds as much importance between these two, as the story centers around these two and Guts' revenge for Griffith, which we will get into a little bit later. Another thing I want to talk to is how Guts developed, I guess, as Griffith brung him into the Band of Hawk, with Guts not being able to trusting anyone at all. We have this beautiful panel of him just sitting on his own. It sort of like makes Guts be presented in this way where he's alone. My boy's just chilling against the wall, just looking out. My boy's just on his own, and he doesn't really care about the people around him, and he just feels like his own. My boy's the lone wolf pretty much. But over time, he starts caring about other people in the Band of Hawk. We get more of a time skip, I would say, and Guts starts to become a leader figure with his own type of group, with the Raiders. He starts to care about people. Even shows here with a conversation with Griffith saying, I do think about my comrades. I'm not who I used to be. And it just shows the change what Guts has really had. Since a few years ago, my boy was just on his own, didn't care about anyone. But now, as the leader of the Raiders, my boy is able to care about his team, about the people around him. And he even says it himself, I do think about my comrades. I'm not who I used to be. Showing the character development that our boy Guts has had. Now, really cool. Now I actually get to bring up Zod, because Zod was actually introduced around this time, and a scary character. I'm writing down my thoughts because I do tend to write down my thoughts so I can like say how I felt in that moment. He was such a wild character. Like, yo, who is this man? He looked like a big giant beast. Well, actually that was after, but he didn't look too appealing. And when Guts was in front of him, it just makes me wonder how Guts will face him in the future and how he's going to have future interactions with him, because Zod seems like such an important character because of the stuff he was hinting at first. I wonder, like, how Guts, even if he does kill him, I wonder if he does do that. Like, I have so many... I'm really happy because I get to share my predictions and think, how can happen? I feel like Guts will eventually kill Zod, but I don't know how that will come about. And I just want to see how this important character will sort of change Guts and, like, progress him into seeing what goal he goes into. Now, I feel like bringing him at the point with Guts and Griffith, I feel like Zod sort of comes into this play too, where Guts is being overpowered by Zod. And goddamn, he's barely starting to hold his own in the fight. Zod is really overpowering Guts, and it ain't too good. It's where Guts actually starts to do something against Zod, but then Zod turns into a complete beast pretty much. But when Griffith gets there, even with Guts injured, it's like they have the teamwork and they know exactly what to do. They use the teamwork to go around Zod and actually land a few blows on him, and oh my god, they've done so well against the boy. So this really shows how close Guts and Griffith are, even like in sync. With Guts injured, able to do that, Griffith, it shows the relationship and the type of connection they have to use that teamwork against Zod. Now, we can finally bring up the line here, and I didn't know the meaning of this at the time. There was a bit of foreshadowing here, is where Zod leaves and he almost warns Guts, almost like a prophecy, and he says, death will pay you a visit, what you can never escape, that being the eclipse, what we obviously know later. Like, goddamn, it's like, Jesus, we really hinted back then, and I didn't know what it meant then. I just thought like he was saying something there. Obviously, it looked like blatant foreshadowing, but to the extent what we really had it at, and I will get to the eclipse later, because I am still fuming from the eclipse. It's insane. insane. I'm talking about Guts and Griffith. I guess I'm going to talk a little bit about Guts and my baby girl. You know, everybody knows, that's right, my girl Casca, who actually hated Guts at first sight pretty much. Just whenever they were together, it didn't really go too well, and they learned that they didn't get along. Like, generally, Casca really was jealous of Guts, I would say, and just didn't like the boy. Almost every time he showed up, she started sort of saying stuff about how he feels and what type of person Guts is, and Guts wasn't really having that. He didn't like Casca, Casca didn't like Guts, and it really progressed into sort of an ugly relationship. Over time, I feel like that changed in the one battle where Guts had to save Casca from falling off a cliff, and they spent a night in a cave. And Guts, you can really see, like, I don't know whether this is him caring about Casca or just being like a good leader in a sense, where obviously Casca was getting sick, and you know, he did take the precautions of what to do to save her. And this is where we get to learn a little bit more about Casca, how she feels about Griffith, and how important he is to her. You can sort of see Guts almost taking him away from Casca, and you do sort of feel bad because Casca loves Griffith, I guess, in a way what in itself you can't really explain by words, of how much she loves Griffith, how important Griffith is to her. It's just a wild situation in this sense. But in a situation where they're sort of paired up together, they sort of have to learn about each other, like Guts learning that, I guess, you know, he probably feels more of a connection with Casca, understanding more about her. But generally, Casca, I can't blame her. Like, you know, you're taking away my man away, you're taking all I know pretty much. I'm just gonna feel hate for you. I guess that's really what it is. In a situation around here, they sort of have no choice but to fight together. They're back to back, and Guts tells Casca to leave. And oh my god, Guts after this, he does a 1v100 almost, or 1v something, I don't fucking know. But Jesus, Guts really rose as a character for me, like within this scene. Just doing something like that is insane. And like, I don't know what state he was going to be in after, of like he was being overpowered. Casca went up and she was able to find some people to help. And thankfully they all ran down to see Guts just in a beautiful panel, lying against a tree, almost looking half dead, with a bunch of bodies around him. You can just see how much of a beast Guts really is in this scene. He like told the woman to run away. Casca finally got away, and generally it probably makes Casca feel so much more close to Guts to see like how he put himself before her, saying, oh, go run away, you go find someone. Guts was able to do this. It's just, Guts is a beast, yo. How can you not like him? And one more thing about Casca, like, she was able to see Guts in a different light around here, and I was actually started to see Casca in a different light. And you know, your boy does sort of love Casca now. She's in my waifus. Her expressions are cute, and yep, definitely a waifu, boys. Definitely a waifu. Now, I've sort of talked about these two things, and I guess I'm gonna touch on Casca a bit more because at the moment I'm on the conviction arc, and I'm not sure what to do here because what happened was I was gonna make the video on the Golden Age, and I felt like, nah, I don't know if anyone's gonna watch it. I've seen some other Golden Age reviews, and I guess they're really hard to get an engagement on because everybody talks about it. I think I'm gonna title the video something a little bit different, and we'll see where we go with that. Seeing Casca right now is just, oh my god, it's so painful to see how Guts cares about her so much. And if I have the exact chapter I'm on right now, that would help. But it's where Guts is going to save Casca, and you see how much Casca really means to Guts in a way that he's going to give his life. He says, I'm never going to leave her again. He's left her alone. And this is where he goes back to see where Casca is, but Casca's obviously not there. And he has to go save her now, and she's sort of like in this place with people who do witch worshipping. I don't know what to call this right now, because I'm so new to Berserk though. I don't know what to call this. We have this priest over here. He looks fucking weird at the same time. But I gotta commend Guts so much because the pain, and I'm honestly tearing up sometimes because of this. You see how much Guts really cares about Casca, and it's such a beautiful relationship. And another thing what's really cool is that I peeped the 2016 opening. I only peeped the first few seconds of the opening because my friends told me it had spoilers in it. But I peeped the first few seconds within this opening, and it's such a beautiful scene where Guts is just, you know, lying bloody against a wall, and there's this Casca holding his hand the whole time, and Guts is just sitting there while everybody's calling him over. You just see Casca walk up, and the hair passes by. Instantly, Guts just gets up and goes following her. You just see the connection there, yo, and I'm so happy, like, looking at that. To see how much Casca really means to Guts, and how he doesn't want to leave her again. He just wants to stay with her, go find her, go rescue her. That's how Guts really feels about Casca, and it's just a beautiful relationship there. I feel like he'll give anything for her, and goddamn, your boy really does love this. And it pains me so hard to see Casca in a state where she's not really able to speak. She's sort of fucked in the head pretty much, gone cuckoo. And I don't know if it's even, you know, if anything works in Berserk, I guess. I don't know how she's going to recover from that, like, generally. And don't tell me if she does. It's just so painful right now. It's so painful, bro. And I felt like crying even talking about this. It sucks. Honestly sucks. But I guess I love the relationship between Guts and Casca, and I want to see where it goes. So that's really all I'm gonna say for then. And with this so much to cover, like I really wanted to get to the main part of this video, what would be the eclipse, and it's not gonna be like other review videos. It's me wanting to give my thoughts on the series of Berserk in a way I'm able to present it as. I feel like the next video would be more professional, so it won't really be me talking about it. It'd be me, you know, putting thought into a script, stuff like that. Or if you want me to present a video like this again, just let me know in the comments and I'll gladly do that. Now, I guess we sort of have to talk about where this all went wrong and how it sort of started. And I guess this is when Guts, or Griffith, my bad, sort of encountered the Princess Charlotte, that is, for the first time. And sort of unrequited love on her end sort of started to occur and grow, and this would lead to bad things. So the princess being all over Griffith, it was wrong problem. He really didn't care for her. He wanted to use her, and we all know this. He only really cared for Guts, and Guts was leaving a hole in Griffith's heart after he left to go on his journey. Griffith did the natural thing and went over, and my boy clapped some cheeks. Okay, my boy Griffith clapped them cheeks. So after he did that, blood was stained on the sheets. Obviously, Charlotte's a virgin. Blood was on the sheets. Father went and found out instantly somehow. Griffith was caught, and, well, Jesus Christ, Griffith was whooped and tortured. It's just a scene where, like, it's almost like, was it worth it? Griffith had sex with Charlotte and made love to her, but it really doesn't feel like it meant anything in the end. We see Griffith is all curled up, and it's just surrounded in darkness. And I feel like that scene just perfectly does it. The art and everything is so good. And it's almost just like, even having someone as the distraction didn't even do enough. Guts has just left a hole in Griffith's heart after he left, and then the dialogue of Griffith going for how he feels is seeing him broken. This gives me chills. Another thing I find cool is also how Casca is in that situation with Guts leaving. Let's say if we go back to the fight, she's sort of stuck in the middle, like looking towards Guts and looking back towards Griffith. It's like she doesn't know how to feel anymore. She's starting to get feelings for Guts, but she's always cared for Griffith. It almost puts her in a position where it's just like, who should I go with now? And wow, it's just amazing to see that in Casca's end. Obviously, we talk about Griffith getting captured, and obviously Guts came back to go save them. So this isn't really your traditional review, because I want to get to the eclipse and talk about that, you feel me? But seeing Griffith being freed yet again was just so disturbing. Just seeing how fragile he is and the damage done to his body, Jesus, it's horrible. Honestly, with this scene with Griffith when they saved him, they were sort of building up towards this, so I expected it to be bad. So I guess my initial thought on this wasn't going to be horrible, but the way they described it was just so disgusting to see. And I honestly just feel bad seeing him in that state where he's not able to, you know, be the once, you know, chiseled dude he is, buff, he's skinny, bones are out. It's like they said, I think his flesh was pulled off. You see his bones generally popping out. I say again, not even able to stand on his own, not even able to speak. It's just horrible to see Griffith in this state. You know, the one powerful man he once was, down at the bottom of the depths and not able to recover. And another scene what's weird is where they sort of defeat the people coming after them, and it's Guts and Casca, Guts and Griffith all talking, and, you know, Griffith sort of sees light through this curtain, and that is Guts and Casca. It's almost like he's starting to see Casca maybe take away Guts from him. It's almost how Casca used to see Guts take away Griffith from her, but sort of the opposite now. And like, explain it to me if I'm wrong about this, but it's just such a wild thing to think about, how Casca feels Guts is taking away Griffith from her, and now it's the other way around. Maybe Griffith feels like Casca's taking away Guts, who was already gone, and taken away further away. I feel like Griffith acknowledged the stuff how Casca felt about him. He's not stupid. I feel like he acknowledged that. And the weirdest thing Griffith does, and I don't know if that happened because it's such a weird thing, he jumped on top of Casca and, I don't know, humped her. I just found this strange scene. Okay, your boy can't speak here. That scene was strange. Let's be honest. I don't know how to take it if that's the way I see it. Honestly, like, it looked like he humped her. Let's be honest here. And this is like Griffith sort of trying to get into the middle between Casca and Guts' relationship, but he can't. He's generally too fragile, can't really get into this. And I guess with this, he sort of got fed up, and when Casca got out of the carriage, he just whipped the horse, started going in his hands, and he falls down a cliff. And at the end of this cliff, it's just, you see the pain he's pretty much in, but something's different here. Griffith is met yet again with his fate and has the belt in his hands. And it starts. Now, I've heard about the eclipse, heard about it so much before, and how wild it is, I guess, or just how interesting it is, but I never knew anything about it, like what's included in it or anything like that. I guess I've seen that one panel with Griffith holding the belt and the eclipse actually in the background. That's the only panel I've seen of it. Nothing else. But goddamn, I didn't expect this to be this bad. Your boy cried. I felt sick. I got hyped. Every type of emotion you can feel within a scene. Disgusted, lost, sad, just everything you can really think of every human emotion I felt while reading this. Griffith starting an eclipse when a belt comes into contact with his blood by the looks of it. And the setting just changes almost like it's hell. Like everything around it, we see the floor look all fucked up. It's just generally out of a nightmare. We see these large creatures slowly coming at us, almost like Attack on Titan or something, right? And I guess the surroundings is just something out of a horror movie and something out of hell is the only thing I could say. And the scene where everyone just panic and it just makes it worse with the tension, you know, people panicking like what's going on. And the god hand, right? We see this massive hand. And oh my god, their designs, to be honest, their designs are actually phenomenal. I want to talk about. Miura has done a great job of making all of them look sort of unique. One of them looks sexy. One of them look weird. And they just all have a nice creepiness towards them. What really gives their characters a unique type of style compared to other type of villain groups, as you could say. And in the midst of their arrival, we already know they're here for Griffith. He is the chosen one by the god hand, pretty much. What makes me question if this was his destiny all along, which I'm pretty sure, like it said it was. If he had the belt, like, it's gonna end up with you, like, even if you lose it, it's set to be in your hand one day again. And I guess that really was the moment where Griffith's fate caught up with him, and this is the time where he's really gonna become the king, almost, as you could say. You see Guts yelling back, you know, trying to take Griffith. He's almost in a shock. He can't really keep composed, and this is really wild for Guts because he's always the type to keep composed. And the Godhand members state they have a beautiful friendship, and it would make a good sacrifice so Griffith can become a demon. And like Guts is just like, what's going on? Like everyone's just so confused, like, because they honestly don't know what's going on. We're told about the apostles around us, and it really does turn into AOT pretty much. It sort of looks like they're getting closer, but at the same time, I guess there's even more of them. And Jesus Christ, the art just adds to the scene, making it horrifying. The shading, everything. I can't even imagine what this is like if it got a good adaptation, which I do hear the third movie is pretty decent. I guess if we're talking about fate again, like I say, Griffith, like the belt was always managed to get into your hands yet again. Even if you lose it, will be in your hands. And they sort of like bring up a point where they're just like, everything has been determined at the start of their lives. Everything you have done has been spun into this moment, and it's sort of his fate. Like I say, Griffith's fate is caught up with him. Everything, I guess he even starts to realize everything he's done so far is for this very moment. Now I love the scene where Griffith's sort of going through his mind and his thoughts and everything, and the way Miura presented it is phenomenal. We see him sort of running through his head trying to get to where he needs to be, and he's just going through his lives. We see these corpses one by one, Griffith standing on them, and he's sort of piling towards them. We see like a castle in the background, and he says he won't apologize for anything, like this is where he needs to be. And it's how Griffith feels, and I honestly just love the way Miura's like sort of done this situation with Griffith and presented it. And this is really how Griffith wants to do it, and how he decides to get to the top. He's not going to say sorry about it. He wants to be the king, I guess, and this is the perfect scene for Griffith's character. And we will see he'll do anything, generally anything, to see where he wants to be in life. Phenomenal, honestly phenomenal writing. But these thoughts, along with the god hand telling him more, it only pushes Griffith further, where they state, if you see the castle in your eyes, even more dazzling than anything, then pile all you have left and chant the words, I sacrifice, in your heart. And this is the time where Guts manages to finally get to Griffith yet again, and he sort of looks at him. It's already too late pretty much. I'm just starting to get goosebumps around this scene. Among thousands of comrades, amongst tens of thousands of enemies, you're the only one. You're the only one who made me forget my dream. Sacrifice. And just like that, the war between these two rises, and the god hand says the promised time has come. Now, this is the part where my jaw generally just dropped, and the man of the hawk surrounded by the apostles with no way to get out is awful to see. We're just surrounded and shredded to pieces. It's a massacre, and the dialogue says it great. A massacre. It was a feast. No, gluttonously devouring everything, the inhuman hands, twisted feast. It just sums it up perfectly, and the wordplay here is phenomenal. As it is to say it's phenomenal, it's so fucked up at the same time. This describes the scene perfectly, and I can't even put it in a better way than what the dialogue said. Scene where this breaks my heart, and it just sucks, honestly. And a more realistic scene is where, you know, Casca's just surrounded there, you know, just surrounded by everyone, asking if this is real, if she's gonna die, just questioning why everybody has to die around her almost. And this sucks. It's like she loved Griffith. It's heartbreaking to see him do this, and she doesn't even realize what's going on. Now, Guts in denial here, doesn't want to believe it's Griffith, and he refuses that, you know, his brother almost, Griffith, like his best friend, the man he's been with for all these years, refuses to believe he would do something like this, and he's talking to the wall and questions if this is what he wanted to do. It just gives me chills, and the art just over here on Miura just starts to snap. Oh my god. Guts turns his head to see what's happening, and rage crashes towards the Apostle. It's going through everybody. The art here was amazing. If this couldn't get even more insane, we have Skull Knight and Zod out in a world outside this whirlwind ready to fight. It's like, this is going on, and now Zod's appeared, and even Skull Knight's here. It's like, yo, honestly, I get hyped talking about it now, and you can probably tell, like, it's insane. I go back to see Casca. We find Pippin and Judah save her, saying she's the leader, she needs to live. But at the same time, during this madness, we sort of see Corcus just walking around, seeing his friends die one by one, and he's covered in guts and blood, going around like a madman, an insane person. It's like a dream. And it doesn't hurt to see, it's just insane to see how this would actually be presented in the anime, because I've yet to watch the movie and I'm so intrigued how it's going to be presented. I guess I'll put some movie clips up just so I have a little bit of visuals to show. But goddamn, his sort of dream almost ends where he's met with a woman, and I guess we can really see the true madness here when he's face to face with this woman. Because obviously, explain it. I'm pretty much explaining the writing here. In this whole hell, he sees a woman and he's like, okay, wow, oh my god, I guess I'll get a little bit of a treat here. But obviously, when that's not a woman, my boy sort of walks into her and gets fucked up. And back to Judah and Casca with them riding away before they're met with a creature that whips the shit out of my boy while he's protecting Casca. Sort of like really, it's just a cool moment how he's able to protect the leader how he sees right now, as Casca's sort of, you know, been with the Band of Hope, been that leader role ever since Griffith's been in prison and Guts wasn't there. Casca's sort of taking center stage and taking care of these guys and sort of leading everyone into safety. What's cool, we get to see the grit in Casca's face, and she uses the moment and kills this apostle, and Judah says to leave, but of course Casca says no. Now Casca tries to carry him, you know, almost dragging him almost, and she's sort of talking about, you know, how they're gonna be. She takes one look down and Judah is dead, already dead, and I loved him so much. This sucks so much to see. God damn, arm already gone, wounds everywhere, it's just no hope anymore. Like generally, this guy is gone. I'm starting to lose hope at this point. Now when I was reading this, I was praying that at least someone would live and someone would make it out, and this is the part where it's really disturbing. It leaves me depressed. Enraged, Casca rushes towards the apostle, and in a panel so disturbing, I probably won't even be able to show it on the screen. I hate to read this bit. Honestly, the stuff with Casca pains me to read to this day, and this sucks. That's all I could say. Oh, it's horrible. Going back to Guts, we see him trying really hard, killing anything and everything around him. We see the movements he's able to do, having near blackout moments, but I guess the rage and adrenaline keeps Guts alive, where he's able to rip through all of these things, and it's so badass. And I guess this is one of the reasons I love Guts' character, to see him try so much, and almost the rage keeps him going and the revenge keeps him going. Well, I guess it won't be revenge at this point, so much the rage just keeps him going, trying to find out what the fuck is going on. Guts is amazing, yo. I guess where all these deaths are going on, they're sort of like being absorbed into Griffith, and the process to become one of the god hands is sort of being filled at the moment. And he goes into this state where all the souls are flowing through him, and just one by one he's feeling everyone dying around him, and he says, I wish for it, I killed them, but I don't feel anything. What I find so wild is that Griffith, yet again, it shows his mentality. He'll do anything for whatever he wants if he desires it. Now Guts gets down, and he sort of like eventually sees Pippin, and Pippin's already gone too. His like spine's completely gone. It's almost like a standing death, but he doesn't even have a spine anymore. And in this moment, it's like Guts' whole world stops. He sees everything moving around him, and he's just paused, just looking around in the hell what Griffith has made. God damn, it sucks. It made me feel so bad. And this is a bit where Griffith was summoned, and he lets out a scream, and he's cut off by the woman he loves in the air, Casca. The moment he sees this, Guts just snaps and shreds everything fucking in his way. It's so wild, and honestly, like, it's generally one of the best things I've seen. We see him rip through everyone until his arm is caught in a monster's mouth. And I guess that's still not enough to stop him, because he's still trying to move. Guts is looking up at the man he knows as Griffith, rising up as a devil with wings, covered in blood, flying down right in front of him, what even makes him question if it really is him, because Griffith looks completely different. This isn't the Griffith he once knew. Now, reading this scene honestly pissed me the fuck off. I've never felt so disgusted reading anything in any type of manga. Where Griffith just forces himself onto Casca, and the man I used to like as Griffith is just, I don't know how to feel about him anymore. Right in front of Guts to start to make out of Casca, caress her whole body, and with Guts' arm, just Guts is just in shock at this moment. He's not able to move, and he sort of like sees what Griffith's starting to do. He fucking snaps, cuts his arm off, tries to get even closer, screaming, and he can't do anything because he's being pinned down. It's just so helpless, and Casca's saying don't look, and Oh my god, Griffith, I hate you for this so much, and I don't know how to feel about him. It just sucks. I feel so empty. I feel pissed. I have this rage in me. I feel sad, and it at the time it brought tears to my eyes because of what the fuck is going on. There's all these emotions inside me. I'm pissed, like I said. I'm crying. Griffith, why, bro? Why you do this? I sort of had a friend after this say, "Hey, oh, how do you feel about Griffith?" And I'm just like, if he didn't do that stuff to Casca, I guess you could have really justified in the way he did things. He just wanted the Guts to feel empty, seeing him taking away Casca, or Casca taking away Guts. He sort of wanted to take away the thing most precious to him. Did it right in front of him, and I guess this all the rage he's had for Griffith is just built up in this one fucking hour, I guess you could say. I don't know how long the eclipse was in time, but it's built up in this one whole day pretty much. All the hate for Griffith, man needs to know, man needs to respect, man needs to love probably, has done all of this, and generally has brought tears to my eyes. And finally we meet Skull Knight, who breaks into this vortex of hell and tries to fight the God Hand, but he swoops in and this kid takes both Guts and Casca. I guess he didn't even like have any power to fight the God Hand. And I don't know how powerful the other members are, because we see Griffith use his powers to try and stop everything around him. But there's a moment where Griffith sort of looks up at Guts and he sort of lets him go. And I don't know why he did, but he just lowers his hands after having them reached up in the air. Jerry just lets him go. I guess he still does have that type of humanity still in there. Now, obviously, Rickert is here at the same time. We see Skull Knight out of this vortex. Zod, you know, sort of ready. Fucking Skull Knight's beaten Zod pretty much by the looks of it. Now, Zod tries to go at it again, but he knows his Guts and he lets out a laugh. And I guess he puts the fight to the hold. He sort of wants to see Guts sort of grow as a person and see how he sort of deals after the eclipse. Because he says the death will pay him a visit. But it didn't in the end. The Guts is still alive and he's gonna fight fate itself, I guess, by the looks of it. Skull Knight tells Rickert no one is left and if he will come. And of course, my boy Rickert does. The Guts finally wakes up and sort of comes to his senses. First thing he asks, what I love, is where is Casca? You see Casca under a waterfall, just looking a little bit crazy by the looks of it. And I'm wondering if she still, you know, has it in her, just a little bit, you know, traumatized. Guts goes to touch her, and I guess she's sort of reminded of a man's touch, where she's scared of what Griffith did and sort of has this scar within her head. And that's so painful to see. Even forgetting Guts, she only trusts Erica now. And goddamn, it just sucks so much to see, you know, them two embracing, and now to see Casca like this sort of ignites my rage for Griffith even more. And I guess Guts at the same time too. And in the nightmare, I guess the only thing Guts wants to do is just run away from this all, run away from this hell. He's just running through the forest trying to get away from all of this. We're sort of met with Guts after a little bit after all this running, just raining in a field. He's just lying down, looking up at the moon. He's met with all these creatures watching him from the distance, and I guess that's sort of teasing like what he has to face in the future and like what he has to live like now. He sort of comes face to face with Skull Knight, who goes to describe the band of the sacrifice and the enemies he must face now. Guts swears a declaration of war and swears to cut down every single one of those monsters. And I just love the way he does that. Like, he has the hate for Griffith and he swears he's gonna do this. It's just insane. You love to see it, man. You love to see it. That's weird because we see Casca there and we see Guts go to Casca, and generally a child drops out of her fucking something as a child Griffith gave her while, you know, forcing himself upon Casca. The Skull Knight departs, saying they'll meet again if the destiny dictates it. And he warns Guts of his journey to come, and he's just left them and Casca seeing this, the pain almost there. And the thing about the child is this crazy because Casca is just so fucked up in the head that she doesn't know what to do with it. And Guts just, you know, probably painfully kills this ugly little thing. It's cool here because we see Guts sort of getting ready to leave in the final chapter. We finally get the big giant sword. I've been wondering how it's going to come into play. But I thought it was like maybe some legendary type of sword, but I guess it's just from the blacksmith, from Erica's dad. So that's really cool there. Met the apostle who is here for Guts. And he has an arm cannon now, a big giant sword. My boy has everything. My man is ready to depart, and he says the Rickert is cool. You know, he says, I'm here to raid the camp, which is exactly why this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow. But it's such a cool moment there, like how Guts is ready to go, and I guess this the whole introduction of Berserk, the first 90 chapters towards this. And your boy's on the conviction arc now. I'm not too sure what chapter that is. I can't find it on my history by the looks of it, but it's just so cool to see how it's going to come into play. Like, my predictions is obviously like Guts is, you know, has Casca with him now. He's sort of fighting this like priest looking dude, and I guess he's going to sort of defeat him. But where we go after that makes me wonder. Honestly, I don't know what to think. I don't know what's going to go on in Berserk anymore. Generally, it's just insane. I feel like Guts is sort of going to progress through his journey. I don't know where we're going to end up within this journey, though. I guess him taking Casca with him is going to tie him down a little bit. And I don't know how he's going to get through that. And the development Casca is going to have is going to probably have to be big. to where we get to, but we have to see. Those are just my thoughts on Berserk. I'm loving it so far. I guess I'm gonna, when I finish this saga and maybe the next one, I'll talk about it a little bit more. That's all we have to do. I just want to share my thoughts, predict a little bit how Guts is gonna go through all of this. Like, Casca obviously being with him is gonna be a little bit of a tie down, like I say, and I don't know how he's gonna manage to fight everything while Casca being with him and all of that. I hope Casca can sort of come to her senses. I don't know if it's possible. I know there's like magic in Berserk, so I wonder if we can use some of that to sort of get Casca into her senses. Puck, love Puck. Puck's the boy. Love seeing Puck and Guts' interactions. I guess these are just my experiences with Berserk so far, and I feel like it'll continue to just, you know, rise in my list. I'm not rating it yet, but I guess that was generally phenomenal. And this arc in the moment is also phenomenal, how we get to see how Guts cares about Casca, what he's willing to do to save her. God damn, love this series so much already. It's just sad to see it end, maybe. Sucks. But goddamn, I'm enjoying it so far. Want to see where we take this. I feel like Guts is sort of going to progress as a character, sort of struggle at the same time. We're going to see what happens with him and Casca. I'm interested to see if Casca really can recover. Your boy's ready. Hope you guys are too, with more Berserk videos coming up. Let me know what you thought in the comments if you want to present it in more of a professional way. Like I say, it's probably me just waffling on the whole fucking 30 minutes or whatever. But it's cool. Loving it. Hope you guys are too. I'll see y'all next time. Sensei, out.